In this game, greatness is measured by the moments that defy the odds. The crack of the bat, the roar of the bleachers, and the rare perfect sequence of excellence. From the first pitch to the final out, we aren't just watching the game, we're breaking it down. From the End to the Bench Network, it's time for you to step into the box. You are hitting for the cycle. And now, here's your hosts, Ben Kruse, David Weightman, and Ryan Touhey.
And hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of this week of this season. Sorry, week 8. Yes, of Hitting for the Cycle. I'm your host Ben Kruse, alongside my co-host David Weightman. My other two co-hosts who were not here from last week, but welcome back, guys. Ryan Touhey and Nate Miller. Guys, first of all, how are y'all doing? I had Nate from his overall workplace. David's obviously from his place. I'm from my own place. And Ryan is back as well from his place. So really quickly, how are y'all doing?
I have the handheld mic, so we'll see how the audio pans out. I'm also in a room that echoes a lot, so I don't know how I sound. It might be terrible. Is it good?
Sounds good to me.
Great. That's great to me.
All right, yeah, but we're here. Been a crazy week of sports, especially just in baseball. There's been so much going on across everywhere that you have to kind of refocus and dial in on, all right, what was just happening in baseball this week? Because there was just, it was such a great week. There's so much going on. I can't wait to break it down.
And then Ryan and David, how are y'all doing?
I'm doing good. It's like Nate said, it's a very busy week in the world of sports, and especially in New York with the Knicks getting set to play Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Cavs at the Garden. Knicks obviously coming off that dramatic Game 1 comeback victory, and look to continue the momentum in Game 2, looking to go up 2-0 before the series shifts to Cleveland. So go Knicks.
Ryan interested in basketball? What? No, I mean, listen, I'm proud of you.
As much as I know.
I'm proud of you, Ryan, and I do hope for your sake the Knicks do make the playoffs, the finals. David, how are you doing, by the way?
I'm doing good. I imagine Ryan's going to get a game plan that should be at the Garden to see the Knicks. No, I'm good. Actually, after this weekend, we're a third of the way through the MLB season.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that. As make sure, guys, to watch us on Hitting for the Cycle. Make sure to subscribe to the End to the Bench Network at ETB Network. Also, make sure to follow us on youtube.com/ETB Network. Also, make sure to follow the End to the Bench Network at ETB Network. Make sure to follow Hitting for the Cycle at HFTC, ETB. Make sure to follow me at BCruz90, Ryan at R297, David at Weightman Stats, and Nate Miller at Nate_Miller Time. All right. Guys, really quickly, Nate and Ryan, welcome back. Nate, I know you obviously weren't feeling well last week, so hopefully you're feeling a lot better. It sounds like you already are.
I'm the type, I keep myself pretty healthy. I'm good at keeping myself pretty healthy. But so I get sick maybe once every 4 months. But when I do, it is just, I feel like the worst. It hits me like a truck because I'm just so not used to it. So I'm back on the horse. I'm back on the horse though. Back at work, feeling better. Live streaming from work.
There's something going on, around. I don't know what is going on, but I'm glad you're feeling a lot better, Ryan. Of course, I'm very happy about your new gig. Of course, that's another thing too. Glad that you're doing well, and welcome back. We obviously missed you last week also.
Thank you. Yeah, new job has been great. I love it. So I'm very glad to have this opportunity.
All right.
Give you opportunities to just talk about the Yankees at your job, or do you have to seek those?
No, it's completely different. But you know what? I am more than okay with that. To actually not have to. It was. I was just thinking about the game on Sunday during that disgusting implosion that they had against the Mets in the final game of the Subway Series. Thinking to myself, man, I am so grateful that is not what I do for work anymore.
Well, Ryan, this is why we have this platform and this show to talk about all Yankees, all around baseball. And you know what? Because Nate and Ryan, we missed you guys last week. We will have you guys start off with team reports for Week 8. And like David mentioned, next weekend is Memorial Day weekend, which pretty much is the 1/4 checkpoint, at least to me, of the MLB season, which is absolutely crazy to think. And now we're kind of at the point in time where teams are really kind of starting to kind of feel where they are. Now, granted, the American League pretty much sucks. So I think maybe it's going to be a little bit more different from the American League side of things. The National League side, I do think there's still a lot, I think, up for grabs, but I do think, look at a team like the Rockies. Like the Rockies, of course, the first couple of weeks, maybe the Rockies they're like now 19-31. Like kind of like
losing Dollander is gonna hurt them a lot. Like that was like their one shining glimmer of hope, and it's just. But he's gonna be a guy that I think the Rockies are gonna try to build around, and if they don't take the jump skill wise, I could definitely see Dollander getting traded in the next 2 years because I think he's gonna be that caliber of player.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. There's a lot of injuries. Ryan, hopefully you're ready to go with your injury cap on tonight because we're going to have to need it. But you know what, Nate, I'm going to go to you first about your Pirates because I know that you were talking on ETB Lounge. Shout out to the ETB Lounge show. You were talking, you David, Connor, and others, and you were saying that you might have to talk about your Pirates coming up this week and voice a little bit of frustration, concern. I don't know. It's up to you.
Ooh, yeah. How much time do we have on this episode?
Enough for you to do what you want to do.
The Pirates. I'm just, I'm not going to jump ahead to where they are now. I'm just going to tell the story of the emotional roller coaster that I've been on for the last week with this baseball team. So this time last week, we just beaten the Rockies 7-2 at home. Felt good. 4 games over 500 in the mix in the division. And then you move to rivalry weekend. And I was like, I wasn't excited to play the Phillies because I think they're playing a lot better since Don Mattingly's taken over as manager. I've said on Give and Takes a few times that I think this is going to propel them back into the conversation of being a very formidable team, even though they're nine games back in the division right now. But I looked at the Phillies and I was like, we're playing them at home. It's rivalry weekend. I think we can steal a game or two. Boom. We catch a home run in the cone. We go up 6-0. It's great in the first game. And then just an all-time choke job. We lose 11-9. And then at that point, I'm just that was the 7th blown lead by the bullpen this season, which when you think of it like that, the Pirates could have such an insanely better record if not for these late game blown, not even just saves, but just massive leads. You're talking 5-0, 6-0, late in the game, 4-0. It's not good. So we saw it again. And then it was and then of course, next game, Phillies play the Pirates. Christopher Sanchez, 13 Ks, shutout. That performance, I'm actually, with the Pirates, I'm actually less upset with than the day before because sometimes the pitchers just got you on a day. When a guy goes 9 shutout, strikes out 13 times, he was just better than your lineup today. He had something. I'm not that upset. But then you have that, and it's all right, all of a sudden now you're only 2 games over 500, and then you lose by a score of 6-0 again the very next day with Paul Skeens on the mound.
Yeah. That
one was a problem. So Sunday, and we had no game Monday. So Monday was the day where I was just ruminating and it's over for the Pirates. We're 1 game over 500. We have to go on the road to St. Louis and then go on the road to Toronto. Unless we miraculously go 4-2 or 5-1, we're going to be at 500, going into June, maybe under. It scared me. And then, of course, the Pirates come back, have a lead, blow it because of bad Don Kelly managing decisions in the first game against the Cardinals. We lose that in 10, and then we're at 500. I have zero hope, and the Pirates do what they do. And just when you think they couldn't get any worse and you're ready to give up and just think this is going to be just like every other year, they rope you back in. They play with your emotions. They tug on your heartstrings. They bring you back. Because what do they do the next 2 days? They win 7-0 and 6-2 against a team that had previously been 5-0 against them. I think getting to 500 did something for this team mentally. They were playing so much better in those last 2 games than I've seen them play for the better part of the last week, which I think is a sign of just maybe getting out of a slump. And like I said, you're talking about 3 straight games now that you have to go to Toronto for and play, and then you have the Cubs at home for 4. That's a big 7-game stretch. The Cubs are a team that the Pirates have done fairly well against so far this season, and they're chasing them down in the division. So you need to win 3 of those, and I think you need to win 2 in Toronto because they're not that good of a team. So the Pirates were doing really bad. They stopped the bleeding. They've kind of brought themselves back and set themselves up to get back in the mix heading into June. I know that's a lot, but this team, man, is a headache.
All right. Well, you know what? I mean, that's baseball. It can just be an absolute roller coaster. You know, they obviously responded back after a tough one, you know, especially against Philadelphia, which means I will say
can't beat Philly right now, and it makes me upset. I want to get one win over David. Let me beat David's team one time. Hockey, David wins. Baseball, David wins. When do I get to have a win? Come on, man.
I was gonna say I'd segue over to David, but you know what? I was gonna see how Ryan's feeling about the Yankees because I missed him last week to talk about the Yankees. Ryan, take it away.
Oh, you've been waiting for this the whole week, haven't you?
Me? No, Nate. When the team gets bad for the Yankees, Nate, it's fun to watch with Ryan. But you know we have.
Oh, my dad's a big Yankee fan too. I hear it at home all the time, so I'm ready to hear Ryan's piece of it too.
All right. So the last time I was on here, I mentioned how the Yankees were coming off a very successful 9-game road trip when they went 7-2 and were back home in a homestand against the likes of the Rangers and the Orioles. After the homestand, the Yankees went back on the road for another 9-game road trip. So they had back-to-back 9-game road trips, and this time they did a complete 180 of the previous road trip. Instead of going 7-2, they went 2-7, and they played some very ugly, disgusting baseball. It started out by getting swept by the Brewers in Milwaukee. They were there from May 8th to May 10th. In the first game, Jacob Mizorowski just completely toyed with the Yankee offense. Just 103 miles an hour constantly the whole night long. Yankees had no idea what to do with him, and I don't really blame them because, of course, Mizorowski's going to shove like that against the Yankees.
He doesn't try everybody, though. To be fair, that's a once in a lifetime pick.
Yeah, of course he had. Of course he had to do that against us. He couldn't do it against anybody else. He needs to do it against us. Spencer Jones made his debut that game. Welcome to the big leagues, kid. And you're going up against a 103 mile an hour fastball. So, that was quite the introduction for Jones. So Friday was pretty disgraceful. Well, it wasn't disgraceful. Saturday was disgraceful, though, for the Yankees as they choked away. They choked away a 2-0 lead. The bats were completely silent for most of that night. The Brewers won that game in extra innings by the score of 4-3. Tim Hill made a very poor decision in the bottom of the 10th inning, throwing to third base on an infield hit, or I think it was a bunt attempt, if I'm not mistaken.
It was a bunt attempt, yes.
Yeah, there was one out, and
no sense at all.
I forget who it was for the Brewers, but he dropped a bunt on the first base line, and for some reason, Hill tried to get fancy and go to third instead of just taking the out at first, which could have been just 2 outs, but it was a stupid decision. Yankees make another stupid decision, and they lose another road game in extra innings. What else is new with this?
Not only that, Ryan, sorry to cut you off. The throw that Hill made, the guy, I think McMahon wasn't even at third base. It hit the runner, which made no sense.
Yeah, it hit. It was a Churio, I think, sliding into third base. Yeah. It was very bad. And then the Yankees also lost the next day, 4-3, and again in walk-off fashion, as Bryce Terang hit a walk-off solo home run in the bottom of the 9th. Off of David Bednar, and the Brewers completed the 3-game sweep in Milwaukee. And then after that, the Yankees went to Baltimore for 3 games, and they lost the first game by the score of 3-2. Again, the bullpen blew it in the bottom of the 7th as Brent Hedrick gave up a 3-run home run to Kobe Mayo, and the Birds beat the Yankees for the first time this season. The Yankees bounced back and finally won for the first time on the road trip, winning by a score of 6-2 in the second game of that series. that was a big. That was oh my god, I can't talk right now. A big reason was Trent Grisham hitting a 3-run home run, and then in the finale, the Yankees completely were shut down by the Orioles. Gave no effort in the final game. Anthony Volpe made his season debut because Jose Caballero fractured his thumb diving back into first base because of course he did. And Volpe made his debut by striking on a big spot and committing an error at shortstop. And the Yankees only got one hit in the final game, and they also lost Max Fried that day too, which I'm sure we'll talk about later on in the episode. And then this past weekend, the Yankees were at Citi Field in Queens to take on the Mets in the first half of the Subway Series. The Yankees won the first game by a score of 5-2. They hit their old teammates, old closer Clay Holmes, pretty good. Unfortunately, Spencer Jones fractured his tibia, if I'm not mistaken. Drive right back to home. So that's a brutal blow for the Mets. Another injury that I'm sure we'll probably cover. Yankees lost the second game by the score of 6-3. Again, they had bases loaded in that game with nobody out, and they could not score, which I feel like they've done several times this season already.
Had that too.
Yeah, Luke Weaver and Devin Williams, of course, teaming up because why wouldn't that happen? And then the finale of this road trip and the finale of the series took the cake. Yankees had a 6-3 lead in the bottom of the ninth inning, and David Bednar gave up a 3-run, 2-out game-tying homer to, of all people, Tyrone frickin' Taylor. And Bednar has been dreadful this year, and like I said in a couple of episodes ago, he continues to trend of closers struggling for the Yankees. He fits right in. He fits like a glove. And the Mets, of course, walk it off in the bottom of the 10th because, of course, the Yankees cannot score with the Manfred runner in extra innings, especially on the road. So Yankees go 2-7 on the road trip, and then they took the first two games of this 4-game set against the Blue Jays that they're currently playing against. They won the first game 7-6. They won Tuesday by the score of 5-4. Lost last night 2-1, and they are currently playing Toronto right now in the top of the fourth. Blue Jays lead 1-0.
Bottom fourth, but you get the same.
Bottom fourth.
Can I ask you a question about Bednar? As we are both Bednar fans who have rooted for Bednar. I feel like I want to get your opinion.
I was going to say after.
Do you think he's going to be one of those people that just falls victim to the can't play in New York thing? Because I still think he's got the stuff. I just don't think the Yankees is the right home for him. And it's not like I would have thought that at the deadline last year. It's just one of those things that as I've started to see him, like, I don't think he's getting worse. I don't know if he's a guy that can play in New York.
I just don't think he's that good, to be honest with you, from what I've seen. I think he's decent, but, like,
he's a little overrated.
That's
a little bit, but he was never this bad. Like, Bednar was always teetering. Like, he had a couple here and there where he, like, imploded, but a lot of the times he would, like, get your heart rate up, let a couple runners on, but shut the door. Like, he was
Bednar. I think it also could be big market, small market, and that's obviously not a knock on the Pirates. But I do think when it's something sometimes mentally with a lot of guys, look at a guy like Sonny Gray with the Yankees, going then to or some small markets, doing great. So it sometimes, it could be kind of that way possibly. Really quick before I go to David really quick, I'm very shocked, Ron, you went through that whole entire spiel not mentioning Austin Wells' name once. So
because I was planning on mentioning him at the end of this episode for Who's Not.
Ooh. Oh yeah, we'll save it to them. We know who's
you know
going
what?
last
You
now
can
for who's not,
expand
who's
the
not.
details on Austin Wells. All right. Sorry, I shouldn't even said anything. David, I'll go to you.
Yeah, so Philly had, like you said, they had two. They were like Jekyll and Hyde. Go to Pittsburgh, sweep Pittsburgh. The good part of it, Wheeler, Sanchez. Wheeler and Sanchez just pitched lights out for the most part. I mean, Sanchez especially. In the first two games, Harper and Schwarber were basically the way he was batting practice, hitting multiple home runs, a lot of hits, a lot of RBIs, look great. Okay, that's great. Come home, play Cincy, lose 2 out of 3. Well, what was the problem? 2 of the games, they had 3 hits and 6 hits. Schwarber didn't play the whole series. Stomach bug, I'm assuming. I'm
going to say, was he hurt?
Wasn't hurt because the only reason why I know that he wasn't hurt was he didn't play the whole thing. At first, he said he was sick, but then they had a charity event last night. And he's playing bass guitar. So, I mean, that right there, I'm not ripping Kyle. I mean, he could have had food poisoning.
Yeah.
Ate something in Pittsburgh, didn't agree with him, got sick, the whole thing. It could happen. What else was bad about the series? Harper 0 for 10 in the series against Cincy. Multiple strikeouts. Also, you got to get, I will say this, though. Chase Burns, that kid's going to be a stud. I mean, he's 23, 24, 8 or 9 strikeouts. And again, he like one point, they had like 5 or 6 in a row. Andrew Abbott eliminated only 3 hits. The big issue, though, happened in Pittsburgh, though, and happened in Cincy, was the batting practice consisting of Aaron Nola and 2 horrendous outings. Now it's 4 of his last 6. There now is talk of what they're going to do. They're stuck as far as I'm concerned. 4 years remaining at $98 million. You still got it after this year. They just called up their number 1 prospect to Double-A from Low-A, Gage Wood, who's, I mean, he just absolutely dominated Florida State. They put him. Now he's pitching tomorrow night in Reading. But the thing is, they're stuck with Nola. If you said to me, what's his future? If he's with the Phillies still, he's either a 5 or he's long relief. He can't. He throws the hardest throws is 93. His curveballs. I think they said the opposition hitters are batting 299 against him. That's how bad it is. I mean, for him. So, and everybody's like, well, he's lost, and it's this, or not lost, but like he's trying to get through it. He's just not a good pitcher anymore. With that staff, he's number 5. So after all that, now they got Cleveland home for 3, barring, of course, they play because the weather's going to be horrible this weekend. Then it's like you said, it's a crazy schedule. Go out to San Diego for 3, go to the Dodgers for 3. You come home after a long road trip, and you get San Diego again for 3, and then you get the surprisingly hot White Sox in for 3. So this is, like you said, man, it's a season, but yeah, they got their hands full this weekend. I mean, Cleveland's in first, San Diego's in first or second. They're fighting with the Dodgers, and then you got San Diego again. So we'll see what happens with this team. I hope they got to get their hitting streaks back on, though.
It'll be a telling stretch if they're actually going to – I feel like if they win 60, 70% of these games, like then it's going to almost be like, all right, everyone's looking at the Phillies to climb back and actually be a relevant name at the top of those wild card teams.
That's the mindset I have. Is just win 2 out of 3. Don't worry about the division. You're going to be 9.5 after tonight behind Atlanta. Atlanta's just on a heater right now, and like you said, they're leading the league in hitting and leading the league in pitching. So focus on the wild card because you're not unless Atlanta goes full Detroit Tigers, they're not going to win the division.
Well, before I get into my overall spiel, speaking of Atlanta, we got a little quick breaking news that Ronald Acuna was removed from tonight's game as precaution with pain in his left thumb. So we will see in terms of what that's going on there.
This guy just can't stay healthy.
No, every year.
Yeah. So hopefully Ronald's okay. I would love to see him when he comes to Fenway next week and not terrorize my team, but he's such a good player that I want to see him play healthy. All right,
do you guys ever forget that he has a World Series ring? Like, he didn't play, obviously, so maybe that's why it is, but for some reason, and I don't really know why, I don't want to, like, discredit the guy, but I've just never really, even after they've won, looked at Ronald Acuna as, like, a World Series champion. Like, in my eyes, he's still trying to get his first. Like, the Braves got one while he was there.
Right.
But to me, Acuna still needs one for him. Like, to me, he has no World Series. I'm sorry, Acuna. I don't mean to be a jerk, but that's how I see it.
Right.
All right. Really quickly, I'm going to go fast for me. That's not a lot. I mean, the Sox are pretty much the same, crap every week. All right. So they lost 2-3 to the Phillies. David, I was with you last week. That Thursday game looked like it got postponed. It got delayed. The Red Sox couldn't hit Luzardo. Lost 3-1. Braves series going to Atlanta. I wasn't expecting great things. Lost the first game 3-2 in extras, but some way Aroldis Chapman pulled a Dini Act in the Saturday game, winning where it was a line drive off of his foot. Got the ball, got the out, bases loaded. Sox win 3-2. And then Sunday happened. They put Brian Bayo out of the bumper spot, made him full time again. Got absolutely smoked. Red Sox was 8-1. But give them a little credit. They've won their second sweep in a row. Well, not in a row, but of the season, and it's against another AL Central team. So looks like we can do that well. At least we beat the Tigers this week, and we beat Kansas City this week in the sweep. First game 3-1 on Monday. Tuesday 7-1, and then last night 4-3. Ryan, one guy that's been starting to cook a little bit for the Sox, and we play you guys in a couple weeks, so hopefully he'll still keep it going. Is Jarren Duran. So hopefully Jarren Duran will start to feel himself a little bit because we can't hit a lot to save our lives, and Roman's been out for a while. Hopefully Roman's back. Garrett Crochet, there's an update going on with Garrett Crochet. Sports he's projected to pitch next week. That doesn't seem likely. He's still going through a lot of stuff currently right now at the moment. Looks like he said that his mechanics, he feels like right now his mechanics are after the Twin start. We're going to obviously smoke more than the Orioles start, where he pitched really, really well before he went onto the injured list. Red Sox got 3 with the Twins this weekend. We got to find a way to start winning games at home. We've been terrible at home at Fenway. And then we got the Braves for 3. I think you guys, Ryan, again. No, sorry. We got the Guardians on the road. So we don't have the Yankees until the following weekend. That's kind of where my mind's at right now. All right, so that is that. We got through almost a half hour of team reports, but you know what? We missed 2 of my guys last week. We obviously had to get into that stuff, so I don't care. But you know what? This stuff I think we're going to be kind of not as quickly with, as long with. We don't really need to get much into detail. Guys, what do you guys think about this Tarps Off Craze stuff that's happening with fans starting to get shirtless and bringing a soccer-style energy to MLB stadiums? I will say this. If you guys watch the Spurs, now I hate to cross sports, but this kind of has a similar feel to it. There are now some teams that are starting to, kind of bring it just a different feel compared to a lot of other teams. That's kind of common. But, you've seen the Tigers, you've seen the Angels, you've seen actually a lot of the bad teams, the Rockies. You're seeing a lot of these bad teams just starting having picture crowds. And I would say I would – put out one of the pictures at least on here. I don't know if it's more appropriate than not to, though. But, you kind of get the overall spiel of it. And how long do you guys think that this overall thing is going to, be? Because it's still the second month of the season, and I guess people are liking it. Especially for a team that suck. It's like, what else we got better to do? Let's just kind of have our own fun, I guess. So I'll let you guys kind of take it because I kind of already said my piece.
I think definitely as it gets hotter out, the Tarps Off craze is going to balloon even more. And can you imagine how glorious it would be if Tarps Off went into the postseason in October in these chilly games and you still saw a whole section of fans with Tarps Off? I mean, I just think it's good for the game because more buzz around it. Maybe some people are going to start going to the games just to, get drunk with their buddies and take their shirts off in sections 328. I just think it's fun because, and as much as I hated it, I forget who the player was that walked it off for the Cardinals the other night, but he pointed up and saluted the Tarps Off crowd during the walk-off, and I was like, that's cool that the players are paying attention to this too. It's probably making it more fun to them, thinking oh, we got this thing going on in the crowd. I've been trying to rack my brain not to be a pessimist, but just to play devil's advocate and think, is there a negative to this? And I couldn't think of one. I think it's just good fun, and I like it a lot.
You know what, Nate? The Tarps Off, before I get into David and Ryan, when I think of Tarps Off, I think of the actual physical tarp off. So I think it would be even more entertaining is if you start having a crowd of people that are waiting for a rain delay, and the tarp comes off the field, and you just have fans just taking their shirts off and making an added part to that, and people will be like, why are you doing this? It's you guys don't know the Tarps Off trend that's going on. It's
that would be great.
That would be just fun baseball.
How much will it grow is my question. Are we going to see Baltimore Orioles having a Tarps Off night for the 300 level sections? Are we going to get to a point where teams start promoting it? Because I feel that's the next step if the MLB wants to, capitalize on this craze a little bit.
Yeah. All right, David, Ryan, any quick thoughts about this?
I think it's a fun fad that's going to be going on for a little bit this year, probably, a little bit through the summer, like Nate mentions, but it could also go into October, possibly, depending on which teams compete for the title. I know that there were a bunch of fans of the Trop with shirtless.
That was kind of shocking because it's inside.
Hey, just like them, I'm sure, in the Florida weather, the Rays have been red hot. And with the way they're playing, I think they've convinced me enough to the point that they're going to be in the playoffs this year, and they're going to be a tough team to beat this year.
Yep.
So,
Right.
Yeah, this could be something to look out for. You can see a bunch of crazy shirtless people partying at Tropicana Field, possibly. Maybe you can make that place come alive for once. So yeah, I mean, I think I get a kick out of it.
Yeah, with the Rays playing so well, it's like whatever trends you got going on that drop. Don't break, don't fix it. David, are the Philly fans doing this trend?
They were doing it in a rainstorm during the Tuesday night game when they lost 4-1. The thing with the Rays, by the way, they ripped off the Yankees because not only were they doing the tarps off, they were changing the players' names, and then like the players like Junior Camaro would then point back to them, and they would do it for every single player.
Oh, so they were doing the roll call chant.
Yeah, they were doing the roll
call from the Yankees.
Did I mention that I hate the Rays?
The Rays and the Brewers are the same exact baseball team. I swear. They got guys that you've never really heard of, but you kind of heard the names, and then maybe kind of one bigger star, but he's not a main star. And every year you think they're just going to be okay, but then they win 98 games and make the playoffs and are the 1 seed in their league. It's like, how do they keep getting away with this?
Well, you know what? There was a world, Nate, that Shohei Ohtani could have been going to the Rays. You guys that overall.
I saw that today.
There was a report out, and Ryan, I don't even know how we would have felt about Shohei Ohtani in the same division. Granted, I think it would have been great baseball for our world division, but if you're telling me to have Shohei Ohtani face the Yankees and Red Sox and the Orioles, and I mean, at least for our teams, I would have just been like, this was terrible. I mean, this would have been awful. But Junior Caminero was in a proposed package once before, and of course that not happen, but I mean, you know, there was a world possibly of it. I read that too.
I was just going to get back to the whole tarps all thing. This started this fall with college football. Yeah, if you think about all those ones, that's where it began. And then with this, here's how I look at it with the tarps off. Love it. There's 3 places this weekend where I could see it picking up big time this weekend. Cubs, they're playing home.
Memorial Day weekend.
Yankee Stadium because they're playing battle first place. So you
that'd be a great way to troll the Rays.
The standing room, and one's the left center and right center for sure. And then in Milwaukee, because they're playing the Dodgers. So you're going to have 3 areas there of tarps off. By the way, who's handling it geniusly is the St. Louis Cardinals. I mean, the thing here in the marketing, not only do you have the $25 all-you-can-eat section, but then if you do that before the game, you walk over to the tarps off, bounce up and down for 9 innings, and you're going to burn some calories. So that, I mean, that's what I said. The Cardinals got it perfectly. Where do I think it could wreck or it could crash and burn? There's things I was thinking about. Is somebody sponsoring it and like trying to make money off it? Like, say it's like, okay, the Red Sox are home with the Blue Jays. Now you can sit in the Sam Adams tarps off section in the upper level.
Yeah,
something like that. Or the thing that would even make it worse, this is the jump to shark moment, where then you got to start getting celebrities and like MLB like names who do what I'd say Alex Rodriguez. Hey, MLB on Fox wants you to do a tarps off with fans and be like them. Or you get like a celebrity who has a movie coming out, like let's say a Will Ferrell at a Dodgers game, and then he does it, something like that. That's where I think you have a possible jump to shark. I think this will last till September, and then when the kids go back at school and their team sucks, like say the Orioles or the Colorado, they're not going to go to the tarps off. Then they're like, look, I got to go back to school.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be at Sox and Rangers on Friday night at Fenway, and the games at Fenway, at least on Friday nights, the last couple of years have been absolutely insane. So I'd love to see that. I'm also break. I mean, this is their Fenway greens. They got the sweatshirt off right now. But
are you going tarps off?
What?
Are you going tarps off?
We'll see. We'll see.
In the 50-degree weather.
Catch us on Hitting for the Cycle next week, where it's the tarps off episode.
Oh God.
All right. Well, we know what's not off is what's going on with PCA in terms of what's happening with him, because not only he's struggling in terms of finding himself footing-wise this year on the field, you know, obviously putting that line drive, first one past him. His offense has been very suspect, even though he had 24-plus homers last year. But he was fine, for instance, with the fan in Chicago against the White Sox. I really don't know this whole entire story, but I just, decided to put it in. I guess there was maybe a woman or something that was clapping back, and he turned back, and in terms of there's like a fencing area and the back part, maybe said something. PCA turned around. PCA, I don't know, like you just got to go play, man. I think, you're really struggling. The Cubs are really kind of struggled recently also. I think the last you need to have, yeah, granted, it's not a massive deal, but it's like, kind of look in the mirror, like, I want to stay locked in. It must have really been something to really piss him off. That really kind of takes for a lot of people. I mean, the thing about it, though, and I will give PCA credit on this, is if it was something that was, family related or something like, there's a lot of times where like, fans just think you could just kind of say anything to athletes. And that's something that I can't take. Like, I'm a fan myself. Like, if I'm going to, chant at Aaron Judge, Ryan, and say, screw you or whatever type of thing, like, I'm not going to go overboard, because that's not a type of fan that people should be like. They are people at the end of the day. They should be treated with the same way as we are. And, like I said, I didn't really see much of any of this, but, it happened to be the case. It happens a lot. And, Jaren Duran, speaking of Jaren Duran, has been involved with some of these type of things. I mean, there was in the series against Minnesota, there was a person that literally told Jaren Duran when he was coming back after having a ground ball to go kill himself.
Right.
And, so you're telling me that Jaren Duran, especially with the stuff he's had before, to not, react in a certain way? No. But, it's just, they're athletes, they're people at the same day at the end of the day. So that's kind of it. But I'll let you guys say, you guys want to say anything.
Yeah, I'll speak about this. This was a Cubs Sox thing. So that was just some trash talking, that whatever it was. That's probably happened before. The only thing was caught on video. So I'm not saying I'm not defending Armstrong what he did. The thing with him in general is, though, he needs a day to reset. Meaning, like, not only is it that thing, not hitting, drop the fly ball, a little league home run, and the team's lost 5 in a row on top of all this. I would send him tomorrow, maybe use it for pinch hitting, to say, look, send the dugout, go clear your head. You want to talk, whatever it is, fine, and get him back out there on Saturday. But he's just going through the season. Like he said, it's the ups and downs, and he's had a down week. So you just kind of flush it and then move on the best you can.
Yeah. Sometimes, and I probably assume a guy like PCA, he probably, will apologize at some point. That's what a lot of athletes tend to do in situations like this. They usually don't prolong the situation longer than it should be. But yeah, just kind of decide to put that in there. Ryan, if you had any really quick thoughts about it.
Yeah, well, when it comes to athletes and fans, like this has gone on throughout the course of time, and athletes have always, I think, reacted strongly to fans heckling them. I mean, nowadays it's very hard to get away with it because social media and phones are everywhere. So the risk of putting yourself in hot water is greater today than it was back in the past. So, Pete Crow-Armstrong should have been a little more cognizant of that when he decided to bark back at the woman who was heckling him. I mean, I think the woman was being a little ridiculous. But I wouldn't be surprised if she was a little drunk when she was screaming in his face, "You suck."
Mm-hmm.
But if that's the worst she says, like PCA should have just ignored her. It's not worth it. If all she said was, because all I heard from the video was "you suck," and I've heard fans say way worse than that.
Mm-hmm.
So PCA should have just ignored it. Don't push your buttons, and you just know that because you're under a microscope now, anything can get caught. So it's a bad look on PCA, and he should have just ignored her. He never should have said anything, and nor to the fans. There was another video too of him talking to some fans when he was on the on deck circle. So which is a bad look for rough weekend for PCA, and rough going right now for the Cubs as they're struggling right now.
Yeah, it's like the same thing too, Ryan. And you probably make a certain case where Ron Soto, obviously last year, his first time going back to the Bronx as a New York Met. And, you obviously him going out to right field with the bleacher creatures, of course, probably cackling this and that. And, Juan obviously would look back a couple of times throughout the weekend. But I thought for the most part, he just like kind of blew it off, kind of like, for a lot of what the athletes should be able to do. And, as long as, they're not crossing the line, it should be something that for most of them should be, we understand the trash talks. A lot of them actually like it. A lot of the athletes kind of embrace it. But I guess he just took it the wrong way. So, but we can't take the wrong. Well, I'm trying to segue this here. Well, what we can take the right way is to have our doctor back in the fold, as he will be talking injuries to some actual pretty key players. And like I said, Ronald Acuna Jr. today left the game. Sounds like he's going to be okay. Hopefully he'll be okay. But Ryan, take it away, my friend.
All right, so I mentioned earlier in this episode that the Yankees have been dealing with several injuries of their own. Right now, like I mentioned when I was discussing the Orioles series, Max Fried has been on the injured list. He has bruising in his left elbow. When he came out of his start against Baltimore last week, he actually left pretty early, and he was getting hit around a little bit. So many fans were holding their breath, afraid that he was going to be going under the knife, and that him and Garrett Cole would never pitch together in the rotation at the same time. So fortunately, though, the MRI and the CT scan came back clean for the most part, besides just showing the bone bruise. So he's currently on a 15-day IL. So, you know, Fried, it's still a tough loss for the Yankees. Definitely thins out their rotation. But another big piece of news that I want to share: Garrett Cole makes his return to the Bronx, makes his return to the mound tomorrow evening at Yankee Stadium. First appearance on the mound since Game 5 of the World Series in 2020.
Against a really good team too tomorrow.
And he gets the best team in the American League. Yeah. What could go wrong? So
hopefully he does well, Ryan, for your sake. I will say that.
Yeah. So Fried's one guy who the Yankees currently are without. Another guy who they're without, like I mentioned, is Jose Caballero, but he is probably going to be coming back tomorrow as well, or later on this weekend. But elsewhere around Major League Baseball, a lot of names have been going down with injuries. Like you mentioned earlier today, Ronald Acuna coming out of the game. And I hope we don't know the extent of his injuries just yet. But hopefully it's nothing serious, because he is a very talented ball player, obviously.
Yep.
I'm just looking at I'm trying to find all these injuries right here. There was a lot.
Update Crochet, because obviously that's a big one.
Oh wait, Jose Barrios from the Blue Jays.
Yeah,
he's on the knife of Tommy John surgery.
2 years.
What was that, Dave? I'm sorry.
He's going to miss 2 years.
Oh, jeez.
All this year.
2 years?
12 to 18 months.
Oh,
all this
yeah.
year and then all of next year if they play.
Wow. Oh my God, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Rotate. I mean, the Blue Jays have gone off to a very slow start this year, and a big reason is because of the injuries.
Yeah.
Their rotation has just not been able to recover. It's not deep enough to withstand all these injuries, and that's the biggest reason why they've gone off to this slow start. And that is just freaking that. What a brutal loss it is.
I can name another name, and this will set Ryan off, and just to everybody here. Here's the name: Trevor Story.
Oh yeah. Oh jeez. Oh God.
Iron Man.
God.
On top of what all the crap we're going through right now, too. So, but you know what, Trevor right now, I think he's going to be having a second. I don't know, but he's going to Philly. Actually, funny enough, David, for his next procedure. So he'll probably won't be back at probably best until like July. But at least if there is a little silver lining, and listen, I don't want any injuries, nobody get hurt. So obviously, I'm taking it this way. Marcelo Meyer gets a chance to play a lot more at shortstop. So that at least will be a little bit better in terms of if there's anything to come out. But I hope Trevor's okay, because you know I want to succeed. I want him to play hard.
Story's injury history with him being at the Red Sox is pretty impressive. I mean, the list was like this every year he's hurt.
That's why I went like
the Rockies. I don't really remember.
Oh yeah, Trev's had a lot of injuries. A lot.
Okay, I don't remember his Rockies tenure too well. If I'm being totally honest.
Trevor really is never. I don't think he has a very similar fate as Francisco Lindor actually with the Mets. I think that's a pretty favorable comp. It's a talented type of player that just never. I mean, I'd say Lindor has I think a little bit more edge than Story because he's had a lot more memorable moments, especially in the playoffs for his overall team. But I think they have a lot of similarities as well, too, kind of what they've gone through. So
I think if you switch their positions, I think Lindor gets better in Boston, but Story somehow manages to get even worse with the Mets.
I don't know. Yeah, we're going to have to see. But what else do you say, Ryan?
Yeah.
I think Lindor would play better anywhere, honestly.
Let me just say for the record, the reason why I went when I heard Story's injuries, not because I'm happy to see him get injured, it's just because he's had so many injuries. It's insane. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's outrageous. And speaking of Red Sox injuries, Ben, I know he came up last year. He's supposed to be the next big thing in Boston, but can Roman Anthony stay on the field too? I mean, he's already had a ton of he's already had 4 major injuries or something like that so far.
Yeah, no, our core 3 guys, Christian, Marcelo, and Roman, all guys have had a little bit of injury risk for my liking. So, yeah, Ryan, I mean, I think people should not declare any of these guys bust potential. I think there's obviously a little bit of talk. But yeah, Roman's obviously just never been playing a lot.
He's 20. The reason why it's frustrating because I can see the talent that he has.
Oh yeah.
But he's what, 21 years old, 22.
20,
he should not be going down this much this soon and this early in his career.
No. He's always going to be a kind of a guy when coming in that he's been able to kind of fight a lot of things off, but for some odd reason, the last couple, it's taken him a lot more. So hopefully, there's no more added stuff to this because, yeah, I mean, obviously we got him to that extension, and he's supposed to be our next big thing, which he should still be. I think Roman still has that ability. He's going to be fine, but there is that concern though that you obviously raised, Ryan, for sure.
Yeah, and there's just a lot of other day-to-day injuries. Nothing just yet. Edward Cabrera of the Cubs, he left his start on May 20th in the 4th inning because he had a blister on his pitching hand. Yandy Diaz of the Rays was hit by a pitch on May 19th, and he was out of the lineup on May 20th. And Kyle Schwarber was out of the lineup yesterday for the Phillies due to a stomach issue. So, there aren't really too many IL injury news regarding that. Some of these guys haven't been placed on IL yet. It's day-to-day for all of them. Trent Grisham also is day-to-day with the Yankees as well. Brandon Nimmo. He left the game for the Rangers on May 20th with right hamstring tightness. Oh, isn't Corey Seager back on the injured list again?
Corey Seager, I was just about to say, yep.
Corey Seager.
Because Ryan is our doc on the show, but David is the guy that posts the stuff behind the scenes when it comes to injuries. So if anybody wants to know about in terms of how we got our information, those are the 2 guys. For me, I'm just kind of me and Nate are just kind of there. Obviously, we're just and there's kind of an injury. We'll kind of listen. We're kind
and even if we were to find out about an injury, there's no chance that either you or I get it. See it and get it into the Slack before Ryan or David.
Oh yeah. That's why I don't even bother. So, but Ryan, Tarek Skubal, that's kind of another one too. Of course, right now I think the latest was he threw off a bullpen today, or yesterday or something like that. The Tigers are really just slugging. I know, of course, we don't have a lot of time, of course, to go through a lot of teams, but John Heyman or somebody else put out we talk about in terms of the trade deadline coming up, and Tarek Skubal, he's going to be going into an impending free agency in the next couple of years or so. Of course, if there's a lockout comes in, if there are teams that are going to be contending, for a guy like Skubal, I know granted, of course, that he's hurt right now, but, of course, if he's already, pitching a bullpen, he's going to probably try to ramp up as early as possible. Teams will be calling. This is the best pitcher in the game. Teams will be calling. I obviously expect the Dodgers. I obviously expect even a team like the Mets, every big market team will have that phone ready and say, listen, what can we obviously kind of give you for a package for a guy in Tarek Skubal? Guarantee, of course, that'll happen. But time will tell in terms of what happens from there.
That's the ER.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Who's hot? Who is not? And Nate and Ryan, I know you guys missed this so much last week, so I will let you guys go to it. And Ryan, I want to quickly apologize that, of course, I essentially kind of spilled the beans a little bit for you who's not, but you could kind of expand the who is not that you have. So, Ryan, I'll go to you first.
Yes, Austin Wells is not hot. He hasn't been hot all year, and quite frankly, he hasn't really been hot much for his career so far. All right, Wells. Okay, today's May 21st, the night we're recording this. You know how many RBIs Austin Wells has this year?
I'm gonna go 10.
It's enough to fit on one hand.
Oh, so I'm close.
Yeah, he's very close. One more.
5.
5.
5 RBIs.
5 RBIs.
Oh my God.
He has 5 runs batted in on May 22nd. Or May 21st.
What a fall off.
He'll probably still have 5 on May 22nd too.
He's had chances to get more, and he has squandered every single opportunity. His at bats are putrid. He swings at the first pitch.
Austin Wells is better at, though. He has more RBIs than Fernando Tatis has homers. Who would have thought that in this baseball season?
Yeah, Austin Wells is hitting 165. 3 home runs, 5 RBIs, a 539 OPS.
Oh, jeez.
His last 7 games, he's hitting 091, 2 for his last 22, with 1 walk and 11 strikeouts.
Yikes.
Shave the beard.
So Aaron Judge's slugging is Aaron Judge's slugging higher than Austin Wells' OPS?
I believe so.
I would not be shocked at all about that.
Judge is actually another guy who's not hot right now, as a matter of fact, but he's not anywhere near as bad as Austin Wells.
But Aaron Judge's OPS when he's not hot is better than almost half the league. So, Ryan, I think Ryan, in terms of who is hot, do you have a who's hot candidate?
For my who is hot, I'm actually going to go with I actually don't have one. If you guys want to go around, I'll get my who's hot shortly.
All right, Nate, I'll go to you. What do you got?
All right, who's hot? Give me the Southside Samurai. Give me Munetaka Murakami.
Yes.
This guy, I'm gonna almost say single-handedly, even though there are a lot of guys swinging good bats on the White Sox right now. Like tip of the cap to Colson Montgomery and Drew Romo as well. Like those 2 guys off the top of my head, I know are playing well for the White Sox. But something about Murakami's presence in Chicago has given these fans a new life. I'm friends with some White Sox fans, so I've heard this a lot. Like there's new hope and belief in the South Side for the first time in a long time. I mean, I get he is striking out a lot, but he's also taking a lot of walks. Like he is kind of a 2 outcome hitter. Like he's either gonna, I guess 3. He's either gonna strike out, he's gonna walk, or he's gonna hit a home run. And honestly, a guy like that on a team like the White Sox wins them a lot of games that they weren't winning over the course of the past 2 years. And in a very weak AL Central that is in a pretty weak American League, like the White Sox have the chance to have their name in the mix for a long time. And I credit that a lot to Murakami. And especially, I mean, oh my God, he went off against Chicago this week, which I know White Sox fans were loving, that he torched the Cubs. That was great. He's my Southside Samurai, also one of the best nicknames in the game right now. So that's who I have as hot. And then in terms of who is not, I talked about it a lot earlier, but the collection of Gregory Soto, Dennis Santana, Justin Lawrence, Mason Montgomery, Isaac Matson, Evan Sisk. And if you don't know who all those guys are, that is the Pirates bullpen. The Pirates bullpen sucks right now. If this team has a league average bullpen, I'm talking, say they have the 15th best bullpen in the league, not even anything special, they are probably the best team in the NL Central record-wise. I mean, this team has lost at least 7 games that the bullpen is blue. So if you take those 7 losses away and add them to our win total, we're a team that's 33-17 through our first 50 games. And we're talking multi-run leads blown late in the game. Like this team is like on a seesaw right now that they could teeter either way, be really good or just mediocre and bad. And that pressure point in the middle that's holding up that little seesaw is the bullpen. The starting pitching is fine enough. The bats are doing what we need them to do and support the starting pitching. But now the bullpen just needs to start finishing the job. And I don't know if that's sign relievers or do what, but the entire Pirates bullpen deserves to be chastised and ridiculed live on the internet here by me because it's embarrassing, it's sad, and it's just blowing you games. So that's what I have. Who's hot, who's not.
Nate, it's funny you say that because in terms of what I have for the Sox, I have a really good pitching staff with a good rotation and bullpen, but our offense is the reason why we cannot do anything besides that. So I can relate in some way. All right, I'll go to me because I think David will probably finish off the bang, Mike Brain. Shout out to you, the GOAT. Otto Lopez from the Miami Marlins Have a week, my friend. 349 average is actually number 1 in average right now. 4 homers, which is obviously he's not his MO, but 877 OPS. Otto Lopez for the Marlins. Heck, he's doing great. Xavier Edwards, another guy up there. The Marlins are really starting to hit a little bit. So I'll give him that. And my other guy, shout out to you, and he killed the Red Sox, so I'll give him a lot of props. Drake Baldwin from the Atlanta Braves. Man, this guy is an absolute ball player. He's a 303 average, 13 homers. He's in top 10 in homers, the 931 OPS. This guy is an absolute problem. If you guys, I know the Braves, of course, nobody really watches the Braves around here. Besides David, Drake Baldwin, this guy's a ball player. Love him. Wish he was on my team. My who is not, I've said Cal Raleigh before. Cal Raleigh has a worse WAR than Caleb Durbin. So man, if you have that, I don't know what you got going on. But you know what? I will say this. My who is not. We go down to Spencer Torkelson from the Detroit Tigers. Woof. This guy I thought was going to be the next big thing in Detroit. 194 average, 7 homers, 19 RBIs, and a 681 OPS. The dude's not killing it. And you know what, Nate? I don't want to do this to you. Marcel Ozuna from the
No, that's justified. He's been down. He's a clubhouse presence. From what I've seen, like the news stories do, he's a very good clubhouse guy. But we need him to be good on the diamond too, and he is not. So I get it. No hard feelings, Ben.
I can't defend a 590 OPS with the sub 200 average. So Marcel, you're in who is not, and another who is not to me is Corey Seager. Man, I know, of course, hopefully he comes back and he's healthy, but 179 average. Ryan, are you sure you want Corey Seager on the Yankees?
All right. I can't win at this point with
No, listen. No, I'm saying this because Seager, I don't know what happened. He's such a good player, but like I remember Yankee fans because I think it's Volpe and others, but
he's too injury prone, unfortunately. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. 638 OPS. Corey Seager, my friend. I think he'll get going, but really struggling right now. All right, Dave, finish it off here.
All right, I'll start with hot. I got 2 guys. Juan Soto.
Yes.
12 of his last 28 with 5 home runs and 9 RBIs.
Yep.
And then for Tampa, even though he got hurt on Wednesday, he's day-to-day. Yandy Diaz, 474, 9 for his last 19 with 3 homers and 9 RBIs. Now, who's not? I didn't go with players. I went with teams.
Okay.
When you suck, you suck.
Yep.
Enter the Detroit Tigers batting 196 the past week. Explains why I've lost 14-16. But what's even worse than that, the LA Anaheim Angels, whatever you want to call them. Last 7 games, well, by the way, first of all, they got outscored 31-3 against the Dodgers. Their highlight that weekend was finding a possum in the upper deck. That says a lot about Anaheim Stadium. But the last 7 games, 170 as a team.
Yikes.
I mean, they want the owner to sell. That's been going on for the last year or two. That team is one of those ones you just implode, and Lloyd, you start from the bottom in terms of the ownership and then work your way down. They're a mess of a franchise for the next decade, at least, as far as I'm concerned. Stadium's bad, ownership's bad, GM's bad. I mean, the only assets you really have, as far as I'm concerned, are Soriano, Trout, and Adele. The rest of them, nah.
They need out of that Trout contract. I don't care. I love loyalty in sports, and I respect Mike Trout for being there. But if he truly does love the Angels, he's got to leave and free up the money that they have to go build a team again, because it's not going to be with Trout. Every baseball fan wants them to succeed with Trout. They can't.
Yeah, no, and there's teams who would take him in the middle set. We've talked about trades and stuff like that. I mean, you're not going to get the haul like you would have, say, 2-3 years ago, but you'd still get an okay haul for Mike Trout. And then, it's just they're just such an embarrassment of a franchise. You can talk about these other ones. There is nobody more embarrassing, as far as I'm concerned, than the Angels on all levels.
All right. Well,
especially since how long, I know we're about to sign off, so last thing I'll say to that, it's just been so long for them that it's like how like what level, where is the level of incompetence at in this organization? Because it can't be the players for 11 straight years.
The owner.
Yeah, like there's We could have a whole 2-hour episode about how the Angels have been over the last 10 years, but I think we're going to be signing off instead.
Right.
Yeah, well, you know what? Before we sign off, I do want to put this comment in here from this guy. And shout out to the comment here from Seth Bowman. He said, "Is that Scott Van Pelt?"
Hey, man, love it. I wish I was getting paid like Scott Van Pelt, but no.
I was just looking at that comment. I usually don't get a lot of comments, at least on my end, but I saw that comment. I said, you know what, I have to kind of put that in. Just
that's a great comment, but no, I am not SVP.
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll do it, guys. Thank you guys for watching another episode of Hitting for the Cycle. Make sure to subscribe, like all of our stuff, all of our fun stuff. Nate and Ryan, welcome back. Great to obviously have you guys come on once again for this week. Hopefully, in terms of like y'all, the schedule and everything like that, we'll be trying to see in terms of, at least for our fans, you know, what type of schedule will be going on, but it's kind of just day to day at this point in time. You know, if obviously you ask me how I'm feeling, it's a day to day type of thing. That's kind of the way we're kind of rocking in terms of our show. Happy Memorial Day weekend, really quickly. Enjoy obviously the holiday weekend. Stay healthy, stay safe, and we'll be back for our next episode next week. To see you guys then.
Where I'll probably be at home and not at work.
All right. Take care, guys.